We are down at near the bottom of the valley. I'm going to do a sort of walking tour video, and on the walk so far accompanied by Junus and Damiana. So I'm going to show you what is actually a massive project that I'm sort of doing single-handedly, and it's basically just a set of heavy-duty rigger's gloves and secateurs, and that's it. So all this was bramble. I thought it's an ideal time to tackle it while we haven't had rain here for about, I don't know, maybe May was the last time. So I've been collecting ferns, they're good for compost. So we're going to start at the southern end of the land. Got lemon trees here. So I thought I'd give you a visual and a sort of explanation as I go. And we have the bamboo here. This is effectively the sort of limit of the land. Back in sort of March and April this was a flowing river, but this time of year the water is sort of below ground, but the fact you've got bamboo growing here shows that there is water despite it looking very dry. So we'll take you on a little journey now. It's a sort of, you could say, a micro and a macro. From the point of view of I'm showing you the way. It very much sort of reflects experience of life. You have to go deep, so hence we're at the bottom of the valley. But part of what I wanted to talk about, it's thanks to Beth for a comment talking about meditation, and it sort of popped back into my mind the first time I had, shall we say, crossed over. Effectively the way I was taught with meditation is you sit on a chair, an upright chair, nothing that comfortable that you're going to sort of get in such a relaxed state that you fall asleep, which defeats the whole object of it. But one where you're comfortable and your lower conscious animalistic side isn't going to keep trying to derail you from a meditation. But the key is to become the observer of watching where your mind goes, the lower conscious mind, because it will try and drag you back into what it's familiar with, because it is very much a step into the unknown. And the first time that I broke through, the only way I can sort of really describe it is it was too high definition that it was a shock. Now what I actually saw was this beautiful woman's face, very close-up detail with blonde hair. At the time it was so clear, now it's just a sort of hazy memory. And I sort of recoiled because it's that saying, expect the unexpected. But yeah, basically the technique, get yourself in the chair and you start with your feet, curl up your toes, tense the muscles about 10 times and gradually work up your body, your ankles, your calves, working all the way up, your shoulders, your jaw, because we can get backaches and shoulder aches, that feeling of carrying the weight of the world on your shoulder when you're weighed down with worries and things. So what it'll actually do with the sort of tensing and releasing of muscles, it will get you into the physical side of the meditative state. So walking through what is potentially a orchard here, sorry my finger was in the way there, you can see, hopefully you can see, I mean this is all the wild bramble. This bare spot is where I've been clearing it. Anyway, so getting back to talking about the meditation, we still have Damiana with us, and I'm not sure where Junus has gone, but that's nice to have at least one cat coming on a walk. I don't know if they've actually explored this bit. Sorry this is going a little bit all over the place with a topic. And here we have some rather sad looking trees getting rather dehydrated. This was not so long ago was all bramble. And this is sort of a typical day. It's supposed to hit 32 degrees centigrade in Montchique, which is sort of way up the hill there. So you can add another 3 or 4 degrees, so it's going to be more 35, 36 some point within a couple of hours of now. That's Damiana talking, saying wait for me, or where are you going? This, when I get round to it, will be another reservoir tank. It's a hard slog because it's clearing the bramble, which I'm venturing with, but as you can see, there's all this here. And we also have, it's very dry up at the moment, but I have seen it full of water. We have a well down there. So getting back to the meditation, as we venture further on into the valley, this won't even take us halfway on this land as far as we can go at the present time. So sorry about the all over the place, but getting back to the meditation, you get yourself in that physically relaxed state. Now this is where the mind part comes into it. You're using your imagination. This was a clearly defined path here until the wild boars decided to turn it up. It's amazing what damage they can do. So yes, with your imagination, you picture a door. You create it, use your imagination, whatever shape, style of doorway you wish. From that, you picture yourself with a key. You unlock that door, and the other side of that door, when you step through, you create your own little safe room in your mind. And you say to yourself, I won't engage with anything except my higher self, or your spirit guide, whatever you want to call it. You can put whatever you like in the room. I made something that sort of resembles, I suppose, a bit like a castle, and a couple of comfy leather armchairs, a fireplace. There's some books with dust on the shelves, old books and things, anything you like. I then put in a second door that leads to the outside world, which was not dissimilar in its depiction as what you're seeing here. Damiana, still here. So this is the sort of orchard. And it was going back to the meditation, it was going through the door to the outside world, the rolling landscapes. I went off freewheeling one time, and that was quite an adventure. I'll save that for a separate video because that's rather a long story. This tree was upright, but thanks to the wild boars, I'm going to have to come down here with a saw and cut it. It's quite an obstacle course to get through. This is after I've already cut some of the smaller branches off as well. But it sort of reflects like the journey through life. It's not always easy, but with determination and the vision that you create, you can get there. Because I've certainly got a vision for all of this land. I'm sorry I keep putting my finger over the camera. So yeah, I've had to come through here. That's 3-4 days ago, I think it was. Tuesday it must have been. We're now on Saturday. So I sort of cut the path through here, and wow, it's in that full sun. It's already getting rather warm. That sort of heat that sort of knocks all your energy out of you. So we're very close to the cave or mine, which has a natural supply of water. That's where the water will run. There's Damiana climbing up the tree. Yes you are, don't say no. I saw you. Right, I don't know how much further we can go on at the moment. I had cleared all this, but it was probably near a year ago. Excuse me. So, don't know how well you can see it. It's not exactly the most stable ground here, but that is the mine there. Whee! This is slippery ground. Right, let's see how far we can go, because I partly come down to make an assessment of how much work there is to be done. I'm certainly, ouch, getting snarled up with the hanging bramble now. So, may not venture much further with this video. It's quite a trek through here, but like I say, it reflects life. I think this is about as far as we can go at the moment. And Damiana, we're going to turn back now. Yeah, so with the meditation, if it's the first time and you make that contact, you break through, don't be surprised if you'll see not exactly otherworldly things, but otherworldly in they are so high definition. What you see with the physical eyes in this reality is almost like a poor copy, a carbon copy, you could say. But it's the initial sort of shock. It's like, don't put you off meditating again. And if you're struggling with meditating as well, I'm struggling with bracken at the moment, and ferns. The thing is to persevere with it, because it does open up to a reality that you don't see in this physical reality, in the what is called the waking state. But consider, if we go right back into Genesis, the evening and the morning was the first day. So what if, in the expression is today's world, what if you are in two forms of days? That which you perceive as conscious, which is actually, as Ken Wheeler says, you don't see the light, you see the illumination, and yet we call it daylight. So is it actually an illusion? I would suggest it is. And the real reality is when your astral body and your eye organisation separate every time you go to sleep from your etheric and physical body, which remains generally in a horizontal position, laying down in a bed, and yet in dreams and astral planing, are you even aware of a body, let alone that you're laying down? Another story I will tell you about with meditation. It's sometimes, again, it's totally unexpected. There was a point, and I can't even remember, it was several years ago now, I was feeling a little despondent, dejected, and I was not focused on anything. I thought I'll watch something sort of from the spiritual aspect, as sort of vegetating, shall we say, but I was also watching, learning from the physical material perspective, and it was videos on building log cabins in Canada. So sort of watching these in the same way you just watch a television program, if you remember those days of just believing everything the television told you, and very much in that sort of way, but sort of, oh, that's interesting how they're building these cabins just purely with a log or single-handedly. Having to negotiate this tree again now. So the point is, I was not what you would call in a meditative state as such, but I had immersed myself, and immersion is a baptism, so I'd immersed myself in watching building these log cabins. And out of nowhere, as it were, there was just a head and a pointed hat, which I could liken to the depictions of Enki. And this being appeared as gold and white light. The pupils of the eyes were white-like. Imagine if you're seeing a negative to a photograph, how the eyes, if you can look in closely at a small negative with the old film, and where black becomes white, it's similar to that, but at the same time not. So, and it was a telepathic message of do not doubt me. It was almost like a jolt back to don't give in to doubts and fears. Now, was it Enki? Is Enki even real? Does Enki still exist in a spiritual form? I'll leave that to you. I'm not saying is or isn't. I feel what was presented in a way, in an image that I would recognize, not something that's going to look so radically different that would be terrifying. If we go back to that first breakthrough, it was the most beautiful face I'd ever seen, and yet I still recoiled because of the unexpectedness of it. It's like, oh, I'm not ready for this. But it does get easier if you practice and consider the wider the widest, broadest expression of meditation is really, like I said, it's a baptism. It's when you immerse yourself in something where you start losing awareness of body, awareness of time, because you are so focused in on whatever it is, be it a painting, creating something. The key part is creation when you're coming at it from that aspect. Reading a book, really getting into a book, is another way of doing it. So don't think that meditation has to be this set procedure, this one size fits all. There are different ways of doing it, and I would invite you to find the one that works best for you with that. But certainly the getting the body in a sort of relaxed state, but not where not putting yourself in a position where you could easily drift off to sleep because you're too relaxed, as it were. Although I suppose you could argue that you would go off into dreamland whilst you're asleep anyway. But I thought I'd just share a couple of testimonies, my experience. This is a little bit soul destroying to see that the leaves are getting rather dry, and we've got lemons coming, some of them, but until I can get this water supply in a better, get things geared up better, then that lower tank that I showed earlier would be able to supply all the water for these, what should be an orchard. So as far as we got was probably not even halfway, but there is another circuitous route which I've showed on video before, which is not unlike the spiritual path in its meandering course, the ups and downs, the highs and lows. And as always, I have forgotten to say something I wanted to say on video. I forget to sort of sell myself and put myself out as much as I should do, because I need to do this more. And that is tarot card readings, 3-card tarot card readings, as well as the healing, which I do have a proven track record with, and the mentorship for those that have come to me for that, that's been successful as well. And I don't charge a fortune, but the bottom line is keeping the internet connection to carrying on having a YouTube channel, as well as feeding myself the basic daily needs. It's a bit of a struggle, very much so at the moment, but I would rather do the reciprocal exchange and offer what I've got. So I don't know what people charge, other people charge for tarot card readings, but the ones I have done with just 3 cards have been phenomenal in what they've shown and how on point they've been. Bearing in mind, I have never trained in tarot cards. I'm just giving you an interpretation of what I feel and what I see that is being revealed when I do the reading. But I'm really just asking for a sort of minimum donation of €5, £5 or $5, and you'll get a photograph of the 3 cards and a voicemail reply, because it's easier than putting it down in a typed message. And I will just share what I see, and hopefully it will just confirm where you're at in your life at the present moment. It's saying, well, this is the situation now. Maybe you should do readings for myself, but I feel I'm too close in to be able to read for myself in that way. Plus there's also the intuition and going with gut feeling that is another guide. But wow, it's got rather warm. This also comes we also come out of this of when I try and upload the video, that I can sometimes get a warning that the phone's getting too hot because of the outside temperature. So all little frustrations or potential frustrations, that it's like, take the more relaxed, it is what it is approach to these things. Don't get angry with it, because it's going to serve no purpose. And it's not as if the video is time sensitive in the message, particularly in this video, is just for this moment. It is for the moment, from whenever you listen to it. Whatever brings you to listen to the video is what counts. It's your inner voice that will guide you, and it's the inner voice that will guide you as to whether, no, this is not for me, or this is just what I need, or somewhere in between. So wherever you are in the world, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day, and hope to hear from you, and in one form or another. All the links how to contact me are in the description. Ideally, if I was doing, say, 10 tarot card readings a week, I would have surplus finances to invest in something like a brush cutter, which would cut down the physical labour of this. It's not easy when you've only got a saw and secateurs. But then I'm faced with the dilemma of, if I buy the tools, what am I going to eat next week? It really is that basic, but I take responsibility for that, because I put myself in this position, but I had to put myself in this position because I wish to show the way and prove that there is another way to live that is far more tranquil and contented than if you're stuck in first world problems, shall we say, would be the quite a good term to describe it without upsetting certain censorships and things, shall we say. So as always, unconditional love to you all.